Hi friends, brothers and sisters, peace. More sharing with you today on the great things Jesus said about women. Jesus often elevated the status of women to equality with men in his teachings. In the parable of the lost coin, the woman had 10 silver coins, and she lost one of them. When after careful searching she found it, she greatly rejoiced. Now in this parable, the woman played the role of God. This parable teaches us that God is loving and forgiving. Although someone may have been lost, they can still be found and repent and be led into the kingdom of heaven. Luke 15:8-10 say, or suppose a woman has 10 silver coins and loses one, won't she light a lamp and sweep the entire house and search carefully until she finds it? And when she finds it, she will call in her friends and neighbors and say, "Rejoice with me, because I have found my lost coin." In the same way, there is joy in the presence of God's angels when even one sinner repents. Next, Jesus also talked about the Queen of Sheba and praised her. When speaking to unbelieving Jews, Jesus hailed the Queen of Sheba, who in the days of Solomon came to see Solomon's glory. She came to seek wisdom. She saw it and was completely satisfied. She believed Solomon's wisdom was from God and marveled that he had given man such wisdom. Jesus said she will rise on Judgment Day and condemn the generation of unbelievers of his time. In contrast to the Queen of Sheba, the Pharisees before Jesus had the very wisdom of God standing right in front of them, and yet they refused to believe that he was the Messiah. Matthew 12:42 says, "The Queen of Sheba will also stand up against this generation on Judgment Day and condemn it, for she came from a distant land to hear the wisdom of Solomon. Now someone greater than Solomon is here, but you refuse to listen." Next, Jesus also commended a Gentile woman for her great faith. When a Gentile woman came and knelt before him and pleaded with him for mercy to heal her daughter, who was demon-possessed, Jesus tested her faith by initially refusing to answer her plea. But when she showed her tenacious faith, Jesus was impressed and granted her request. She was one of the few people in the Gospels whose faith was praised by Jesus. Matthew 15:28 says, "Dear woman," Jesus said to her, "your faith is great. Your request is granted." And her daughter was instantly healed. Next, Jesus and widows. In ancient societies, widows were the most vulnerable and lowliest members. But Jesus often showed them compassion and used widows as examples in his teachings. In the parable of the persistent widow, Jesus drove home the necessity for persistent prayers by giving us a model who was a widow. In a particular city, there was an unjust judge who had no fear of God and no compassion for the people under his care. A needy widow repeatedly came before him to plead her case. Eventually, the judge thought to himself, "I don't fear God or care about people, but this woman is driving me crazy." So he granted her request. The point is that if persistence pays off with an uncaring man of limited power, how much more will it pay off with a loving God of unlimited, infinite power? Since then, since Jesus told the parable, in the last 2,000 years, many Christians have learned from her inspiring example. Luke 18 verses 3-4 say, "The judge ignored her for a while, but finally he said to himself, 'I don't fear God or care about people, but this woman is driving me crazy. I am going to see that she gets justice, because she's wearing me out with her constant requests.'" The most famous widow in Jesus' stories is the poor widow who dropped 2 very small coins in the temple treasury, while the rich also put in their gifts. She gave out of extreme poverty and was commended for giving to God everything she had. From her sacrificial generosity, we learn that small donations out of meager resources are more valuable to God than much larger donations out of abundant resources. Since then, her exemplary faith and selfless sacrifice have been a constant source of inspiration to Jesus' disciples all over the world. Luke 21, 3-4, verses 3-4 say, "I tell you the truth," Jesus said, "this poor widow has given more than all the rest of them, for they have given a tiny part of their surplus. But she, poor as she is, has given everything she has." That's my sharing, friends, today. See you next time. Bye.